Okay, let me share screen and check out with all of you if you can see the screen and hear my voice. Oh, just a moment. Okay. Stop sharing. Sharing. Also share system audio. Okay. Can you hear me, everyone? Can you see the screen share and also hearing me?
Yes, we can.
We can hear you and see the screen, Pandit.
What do you see on the screen right now?
Slide presentation.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Thank you. Okay. Okay, so seems like everybody is new to the tool. So let's see as we go along with our class. Um, you may have question or you can interrupt me. Just in case if you like to say something, you can interrupt me. And we're gonna start right now. Of course, we don't have much time, per week. We only have 3 hours, 2 days each week, and only 3 hours per week. So we're trying to make the best use of our time. And in this course, as you know, that we're gonna speak English, no matter how bad or how good your English is. I mean, if we can spend this 1.5 hour speaking English, just so you can brainstorm your knowledge and also try to understand more and more by communicating in English when it comes to speaking the Dharma or discussing the knowledge in Buddhism. I think would be very helpful for us to spend the platform here communicating in English. Yeah. Perhaps in any other platforms, you may not have the same opportunity. So here, just grab this opportunity to practice English and listen to the Dharma in English as we will go through some pages. I'd like to remind all of you that today we gonna do a lot of reading from previous weeks. Venerable Sarata, I believe that he had already finished with his Pali romanization. Just so you have knowledge about reading Pali romanization, because during the class, when it comes to sutta readings, of course, we're going to study some discourses, some sutta of the Buddha. So it is important to understand how to read basic Pali language in romanization. For Cambodian people, especially the monastic Sangha, the monks, they quite similar with the reading of Pali, but in Khmer alphabet, not in romanization. That's why in our course, it is required for all students to have some basic knowledge of reading Pali. Then it will be very helpful for your uh, sutta learning or reading the discourses. For the next moment, I will show you how we're gonna do it. So let's first we will start with some chanting as a way to pay homage to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Okay, in previous classes, I usually begin the class with just Namo Tassa 3 times, and then followed by the translation, and then usually end the class with Tokkapata. This is the way that we do in Cambodia, Tokkapata. But other than that, I also would like to include the Tiratana Vandana, homage to the Triple Gem, because this is something we usually do for normal, offering, normal puja, evening chanting, morning chanting as a way of recitation to recollect the Buddha's, the Dharma, and the Sangha's attributes. Then today we are gonna learn how to chant or how to recite these Pali sentences. Um, I believe many of you may have already uh, feel similar, feel very familiar with these chantings. But in Cambodian version, of course, this is for the international one, especially all Buddhists around the world. The In Theravada Buddhist countries, we do same thing while coming to recite or paying homage to the Triple Gem. So we do the same recitation, but just in different intonation, in different styles, based on tradition where you are, where you practice Buddhism. So for those who practice like Mahayana schools or Vajrayana school of Buddhism, they have different way of chanting. But for us as a Theravada Buddhist countries, we do the similar chanting, just different based on how we pronounce it, right? So today we're gonna do this chanting, and from today on, of course, we're gonna do this repeatedly again and again. Okay, but if it is not clear, I have shared the link. So sometime if it is necessary, I will speak in Khmer a little bit, just so you can understand some of the specific terms used in the books, because you may find it hard to understand some of the term. So in that case, I also will speak in Khmer, but most of the time we just go with the English. Okay. This is the book that I have provided the link. It's really cool. It's very important book. We're gonna go through the guidelines of how to use this book and how important this book and what is it for. So we will learn together, of course, from this book, Pavana Vandana. So let's go to the Tiratana Vandana. Okay, what's the page? Then we're gonna come back to these pages and study again. Okay. Okay, just a moment. So later on, you know where to find it on this book. Okay. For those in America, you may find this book from the Bhavana Society, located in West Virginia. Yeah, West Virginia, they have this book, and I also got this book when I was there since 2017. I went there and meditate for a few days, and then I found this book really, really helpful, and it has everything. Everything that we need as a Buddhist, in order to learn how to do the chanting, to understand basic knowledge about Buddhism. So this is very fit for this book. If you can find it here, or either you can print it out from tomorrow. You can print this book out, because we can, use one of this book, one of the references for this course. So if you have an option to bigger screen, so please use the bigger screen. Otherwise, you may print it out for, from tomorrow. It's going to be helpful. And this course, of course, we're going to do a lot of reading. We're going to learn some of the sutta. Okay, I hope you can see it clearly. You can see it better. I'm not sure if you are on the phone, probably a little bit smaller, but you can zoom in and out. Okay, so we can do the chanting to begin our class by with your joint palms in order to pay respect to the triple gem. This is called Tiratana Vandana. Okay, let's recite together. Namo Tassa 3 times. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. So this is the following one. Let's recite together. Iti piso bhagava arahang samma sambuddho vicca charana sampanno sukato lokavitu anuttaro purisathamma sarati sattaha deva manusanang buddho bhagavati. Next. Svakhato Bhagavata Dhammo Sanditthiko Akaliko Ehipassiko Opanayiko Paccatang Vetidappo Vinyuhiti. Last one. Supadipanno Bhagavato Savakasangho Ujupadipanno Bhagavato Savakasangho Nyaya Padipanno Bhagavato Savakasangho Samichi Padipanno Bhagavato Savakasangho Yadidang Chattari Purisa Yugani Attaha Purisa Pukkala Esa Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Ahunayo Pahunayo Dakkhineyo Anjali Karaniyo Anuttarang Punyakhetang Lokasati. This is in Pali. And then I really like this book, because if you print it out, left is a Pali and the other side is an English translation. So it's really cool. We can, learn both Pali and English at the same times. At the Bhavana Society, they have like a daily chanting. Evening, they do a Pali chanting. And then in the morning, like 4 a.m., they get up and then they start the morning chanting with English, with English recitation here. Homage to the triple gem, right? Tiratana Vandana. And then Namo Tassa, this is the translation. Homage to the sublime one, the worthy one, the fully enlightened one. Homage to the sublime one, the worthy one, the fully enlightened one. And repeatedly, third time, homage to the sublime one, the worthy one, and the fully enlightened one. And then Iti Piso Bhagava. Such indeed is the sublime one, worthy, perfectly enlightened, perfect in true knowledge and conduct, well gone, knower of the worlds, supreme trainer of persons to be tamed, teacher of gods and humans, enlightened and exalted. Swakato, well expounded is the Dhamma by the Sublime One, directly visible, unaffected by time, calling one to come and see, leading onwards to be realized by the wise. And the last part, Supadipanno, the order of the Sublime One's disciples is practicing well. The order of the Sublime One's disciples is of upright conduct. The order of the Sublime One's disciples has entered the right path. The order of the Sublime One's disciples is practicing correctly. That is, the 4 pairs of persons, the 8 kinds of individuals. This order of the Sublime One's disciple is worthy of offerings and hospitality, worthy of gifts and salutation, supreme field of merit for the world? None. So yeah, this is the Vandana, Tiratana Vandana, the way we pay homage to the triple gem, which is the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Okay, I hope you all get it. Uh, of course, you may not understand everything yet, but we will keep repeating it, keep repeating it every week so that you will get used to it. Okay, before we come back to this book, I'd like to remind all of you about our class. Okay, can you all still hear me, right? Just make sure I don't speak alone.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So just to remind about this course, the course outline, we only have 3 months, which is 12 weeks. And we started from February 11. And I think we're gonna expand it to May. Yeah, we're gonna expand it to May. The requirement is very simple. We just need your attendance twice a week, every Wednesday and Thursday, which means 3 hours. And for homework, this course, we're gonna do a lot of reading as we're going to study more suttas, which is really, really a fundamental teaching of the Buddha. So we will learn some sutta. So I will have all of you to spend more time on reading, rather than just writing or listening, but reading and lesson review, and probably I'm gonna have some question for you to answer during the class to keep the class more interactive. And then final exam, of course, at the end of the course, we will have the final exam just so we know that who gonna have a certificate at the end of the course. And for materials that we will use, currently, we have this book, Bhavana Vandana. And then we have a Dhamma terminology just for your reference to learn more Dhamma terminologies. I already share with you. And then what the Buddha taught, I will show later. And especially these 4 websites are really, really necessary. I would say it's really necessary. If you are learning Theravada Buddhism, you should not miss to make the best use of these websites: the Pali Text Society, Access to Insight, Sutta Central, and the Buddha Vajana. Okay, we're gonna show you. I already opened the website here, the Pali Text Society. This one you may have heard before. Before it was very strong foundation in Sri Lanka. This group is the group who, how to say, invented or founded the Pali romanization. And as you have learned about the Pali language, Pali doesn't have its original, like a writing alphabet, right? The written alphabet. So it was kept from generation to another by word, by memorizing, by learning by heart, from the Buddha's time. It was kept with the oral tradition, right? So from generation, the disciples learned by heart so they could pass on to the next. But since after the Buddhist Council, from Third Buddhist Council, so the disciple of the Buddha were trying to record it to keep the Buddha's word into writing, right? So they start with palm leaf, they start with the material that were able in those days. And then until 18, 1860 something, that Mr. Ray David, along with his group started to write Pali into Romanization. As you know, that the influence of the Romanization was very popular. So they, we can say another way is Latin, right? Latin, you have Latang, like Latang, yeah? So uh, that's why it is very important for this website. You can also find the Pali English dictionary. You also have a critical Pali dictionary, a dictionary of Pali. So many things you can find here if you just spend some time to look into it. There's a journal of the Pali Text Society, and from then they also start to establish the committee for translation of the Pali Tipitaka, right? The Buddhist scriptures into English. That's why now we have the Tipitaka in English version. So for those whose English is the first language, is the mother tongue, they would be able to grab to learn the Buddha's teaching easily, since we already have the translation of Tipitaka into English. And you will find, yeah, Pali studies, you know, Pali language, literature. You also have access to the pronunciation. It's very cool, this website. If you have time, just spend more. Here you see introduction to Pali sound file. So if I click on here, you will see there's a lot of good resources. Introduction to Pali, how it sounds. So this was read by Sri Lankan monk, because he was working for the Pali Text Society, right? So okay, just in short, and then I can introduce another one, the access to insight. This website also really important to explore more, teachings in Theravada Buddhism, and of course the suttas, the discourses of the Buddha. You see here, what is Theravada Buddhism? Preferring the Sutta self-guided tour of the Buddha's teaching. There's a lot of things you can learn from here. If we click what is Theravada Buddhism, so you will have a lot of things to read. Okay, so just for your knowledge, please go and read. Spend some time on reading all these important lessons. Yeah, it's really cool. And then for Tipitaka, you can also do the searching. There's a search box here. You want to search some name, you can do it here. Yeah, some names of the sutta, it will come out. Either you search in Pali, especially in Pali, of course. That's why it's important for all of us to grab some knowledge about the Romanization, Pali Romanization. Soon I will come to that a little bit, just so to make sure that you have more interest in learning the Pali romanization. It's really needed when it comes to reading sutta. If you don't have basic knowledge of reading the Pali, especially in romanization, it's gonna be hard for you. Okay, next one is the Sutta Central. Yeah, Sutta Central. This is also one of the very like the most popular website in America right now. Venerable uh, Piku, who founded this one, and he was the writer of this website, of the publication, of course. Venerable Tanisaro. Uh, Yeah, okay. So you see there's a Tipitaka, yeah, 3 baskets of Buddhist canon. So you can find here the Vinaya, the Sutta basket of discourses. This is the Sutta Pitaka. Basket of monastic law, the Vinaya Pitaka, and the basket of the systematic treatises, Abhidhamma, yeah, Abhidhamma Pitaka, the ultimate teaching of the Buddha. So below here, you can also see some of the very popular essays and discourses written by various authors like Pico Botti from New York. He's also one of the writers of English Tipitaka. If you just click on any of them, they will lead you to many Tipitaka resources. Okay, next one is the word of the Buddha, uh, Buddha Vajana, Buddha Vajana, or the words of the Buddha. This one I really like it. Actually, this author, he also mentioned that this website was made following the guidance of the Sutta Central, so from this website. But what made it really special here, because this website has both Pali and English at the same time. So you see on the left is a Pali and on the right is a English. So it's really good, like the Bhavana Vandana book. So let me say, for example, when I search the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, so it will appear like this. So it's very easy, it's very convenient for learners. You have Pali on the left and then you have English on the right, which is a good like a good comparison, right? You can read Pali at the same time you can look at English, right? Like Ekang samayang bhagava varanasiyang viharati isipatane mikadaye tatrakho bhagava panjavakiye bhikkhu amantesi. Then you have English on the right. On one occasion, the Bhagava or the Buddha was staying, the Blessed One was staying at Varanasi in the deer grove at Isipatana. There he addressed a group of 5 bhikkhus. It's really cool, right? Yeah, so we're gonna do a lot of such reading discourses. So hope you can find it. Okay, let me come back a little bit to our Telegram group, just in case for your knowledge. If you're new to the Telegram, if you're not been using it often, so sometimes it's hard to find like what you want to find, right? What you're looking for. So here we have different categories here. First we have all, right? If you come to the Telegram group, you will see different category. All, this is just a general, right? All and general information. And then you find material or resources, materials and resources, which I have dropped it here. The Pali homage, English homage. I hope everybody sees it, right? And this website is for you to install the Pali keyboard if you want to use Pali keyboard on your device. I mean, especially on laptop, on desktop, So here is compatible to any device. For say you have Windows XP, Windows 7, Windows 10, or you can install it here. The first one, English US Pali. This is the one I'm using. Okay. So for phone, right now you have options to Pali romanization on your keyboard already on the phone, but this is for the laptop, for the desktop. You can use this website to install it. Then you can type just like I do. You see here, if I do the Pali writing, I can do so for say like Samanya. Okay, you can do it. Yeah, you see. Yeah, it's really cool, just to install it so you can use it. Okay, and then this is just okay. Where is it? Oh, here. Yeah. Yeah, this one I already share with all of you. So maybe you can print it out and keep it in your room so you can easily, learn every day. Just in case you forget. This is meant for the uh, Cambodian reader because we have a comparison. For those who know Cambodian, know Khmer language, you can do a comparison if you know some alphabet like Ko, 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 Ngo, So you can do a comparison while learning. This will be very helpful, very easier to easily grab the idea of learning Pali romanization because like Cambodian monk, they already know the Pali, but in Khmer version, so when they come to learn the romanization, they can do a comparison, right? Like ka equal to k, something like that. When we see k, we read as ka, right? Ka, gaha, ga, gaha, nga, right? With the n, then n dot above ni, mà so ngô, mà ngạ, right? And then C, ja, 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 nya. See? And can below ni had the and tilde like a senior, right? Like a senior. Yeah, when you come to reading, you see the N, we call N tilde, this one. Actually, all the alphabet, they have their own terms. Yeah, so like from dot ថ អញ្ចឹងគឺ dot under ទាំងអស់ណាចុចពីក្រោម dot តអត់ចុចទេ so just to make sure yeah ដាក់ដហណៈ តថតថណៈ something like that បផបផមយរលវៈ yeah យរលវៈ and la we have L and then L dot under, right? So this is a heavier sound when we have a dot under, it's a heavier stress sound. លាក់លាក់ណាដល់ពេលលាក់ទៅចុចពីក្រោមអញ្ចឹងដូច no ហើយនឹង no អញ្ចឹងណាក់ n dot under ដល់ពេល no អត់ទេ yeah okay maybe a little bit complicated as I move around back and forth just for your knowledge from tomorrow on so you will find it more easier to find the material. So this is materials and resources. This is a Dhamma terminology book I already provided to you, and I think some of the students already have it. I do have some in Cambodia, and yeah, if anyone need, you can reach out to us, to either to me or to our team, our assistants in the class. If you need the book here, Dhamma terminology, we do have some actually, and then this is the link to those websites that I just mentioned. Okay, come back. Table of content. Okay, we have another hour to go. So for this course, in general, I gonna guide you through this important, teachings of the Buddha, but I'm not guarantee that we're gonna cover everything within our limited time, but I will try my best, because I believe that all these teachings are really, important, the core teachings of the Buddha that you should learn. So just general introduction today. I will go through a little bit on Pali pronunciation, the way of salutation, daily devotion, vandana, yeah, triple jam, taking refuge in the triple jam, and the basic 5 precepts of Buddhism. And then for the chapter 2, we're gonna go further into the core or fundamental teachings like the Four Noble Truths, the Noble Eightfold Path, the three universal marks of existence, like anicca, dukkha, anatta, the doctrine of no soul. So, which will we can find all these fundamental teachings in the sutta. So, yeah, the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta. At the same time, I will not go in order, but I will try to um, connect it wherever we learn the theory. So we will go with that discourse as we see that the four noble truths, the noble eightfold paths, can be found in the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, the first sermon of the Buddha. So we will learn that in the week to come, and then, of course, if we have time, the Mangala Sutta, way to happiness, and I'm gonna have Honorable Sorata to take over the class. And then Parapavasutta, the way of downfall, Sappasavasutta, getting rid of all cares and troubles in the world. Mahasatipatthana Sutta, the establishment of mindfulness, and we'll conclude with the Metta Sutta, universal love, or what we call the loving kindness meditation, right? So all of this can be found in the same book, the Bhavana Vandana. It's really important book. I mean, I do recommend you to print it out, print this book out. If you cannot find the original one, so just take the PDF and print it out, okay? It's compiled by Pante Henepola Gunaratana at Pavana Society. So he's also my teacher. Right now, he's 98 years old, I believe. Yeah, he's 98. Yeah, 98 years old. But he's still living and still teaching at Bhavana Society. He has so many students around the world, especially foreigners. So I find this book really helpful for all of you to start learning, the Theravada Buddhism. So let me just go through with the table of contents a little bit, so you have knowledge of how the book look like, and like what else can you learn from this book, right? Besides what I'm guiding you, you also have your own time for like personal reading to explore more about the Buddha's teaching from this book, which is really really great. And he is, like his book, Venerable Hene Pola Kunaratana, he's been living in the United States for more than 50 years, and he is the great meditation master. Uh, his book is the bestseller, for mindfulness meditation. Yeah, very, very famous, very popular. You can find his books later on. I will show you some of them. So for this book, they have refuges and precept, Tisarana Panjasila Yajana. Okay, maybe I'm gonna zoom it in a little bit so you can see it better on a small screen. I hope for next day you can have it printed so you can read along better. Yeah, they have Tisarana Panjasila Yajana, right? Request for the 3 refuges and 5 precepts. This is what we normally do in the basic Buddhist rituals, rites and rituals, Buddhist devotion. Normally we have a request for 5 precepts. You have some pram, some trisan akum, request for the 3 refuges and 5 precepts. Achivattamaka, yeah. Achivat, yeah. Achivattamaka Sila Yajana, request for the 3 refuges and 8 lifetime precepts. Attanga Sila, request for 8 monastic precepts. Yeah. And monastic is for monk. Part 2, daily devotion, Tiratana Vandana, the one we just recited. Homage to the triple gem, right? Which means the triple mean the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha. the three refuges or the triple gem, we can say. Uttama Sarana, supreme refuge. Puja, offering. Osana Gatha, closing recollection. Kama Yajana. Kama Yajana, asking for forgiveness. In Khmer យើងនិយាយមិន asking for forgiveness សុំខមាទោសដោយធម៌ខមាទោសហ្នឹងបល័យគឺខមាហើយខមាយាចនា Patana wish and then they have additional reading very important suttas Ariyo Attangiko Mako Ariyo Attangiko Mako the noble eightfold path and then Padicca Samuppada dependent origination Tanaha Janeti Imang Gehang craving is the builder of this house ហើយនឹងធម៌បឋមពុទ្ធវចនៈអនេកចាតសង្សារੰអនេកជាតិសង្សារੰ Tinna Kankha all doubts vanish Mahamangala Sutta great discourse on blessing of course which we will learn Ratana Sutta jewel discourse និង Yani Taputa ណា is very important one too yeah Karaniya Metta Sutta discourse on loving friendliness we can say Metta Bhavana yeah Karaniya Metta Sutta and then Mahajayamangala Gatha great verses of joyous victory នឹងគេធម៌គេពីហងជាយៈមង្គលគាថាណា Dhamma Niyamata Sutta discourse on the nature of Dhamma ណា Pshakata Vyakata Dhamma Dhamma that the Buddha declared and did not declare Tilakana Gatha verses on the three characteristics yeah so many okay I'm not gonna read everything but just for your knowledge you can spend your time explore more learn more by yourself right and then at the end some good discourses yeah you see this the other side there's the English translation okay like yeah the last part Marananusati meditation on death right like recollection of the dead Pattanumodana sharing merits is also very necessary for you to learn how you share merit with other beings with your friends with your family with all sentient beings this is the way and Buddha Puja offering to the Buddha sharing loving friendliness right okay that's it and then we can start to read a little bit more to understand about this book to understand everything about this book is also to understand the way of learning Buddhism as we go step by step into the Buddha's teaching but before that of course at the very beginning it is important to understand some of the basic rituals like a daily devotion the daily chanting how the Buddhists are doing all those things you see if you go to the temple you may see the monks always usually gather in the evening at the shrine hall they do the evening chanting they do the morning chanting along with the meditation so how they do it what does that mean so let's go with the introduction Nati Jahanang Apanyasa Panya Nati Achayato Yamahi Chananja Panyanja Sakve Nibbana Santike There is no concentration without wisdom, no wisdom without concentration. One who has both wisdom and concentration is close to peace and emancipation, right? So it's important that there's no concentration without wisdom, and there's no wisdom without concentration. They both has to come together, right? If you don't have concentration, for sure you cannot find wisdom. But when you have wisdom, that means you also have concentration. Yes, that's the meaning. Okay. Then zoom a little bit more ខ្ញុំឃើញទាំងអស់គ្នាទេ can you all see the screen clearly
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
okay
Yes,
so
sir.
I can see.
Not so fast slowly along the way you can also interrupt me and ask the Pavana Vandana is a collection of daily devotions designed to fulfill several purposes, primarily for use both by the monks, nuns, and lay residents of Bhavana Society in the West Virginia. The book is also intended for use by lay meditators in their daily devotional practice at home. ចឹងអាចប្រើបានទាំងអស់គ្នាណាទាំងប្រសក់ទាំងប្រសង់ហ្នឹងវាជាការណែនាំរបៀបចម្រើនសមាធិមុននឹងទៅសមាធិហ្នឹងត្រូវរៀបចំខ្លួនយ៉ាងម៉េចត្រូវមានធម៌អីខ្លះសម្រាប់ភាវនាសុំពីអាចារ្យពីគ្រូអញ្ចឹងទៅ like the formal request before you do the meditation before you do the chanting this book acts as a gateway to learning Pali the language in which the sacred texts are preserved, and the language in which Theravada devotional services are conducted throughout the world. Right? So here, when it comes to about Theravada devotional, because in Mahayana, different schools of Buddhism, they use different language. They use Sanskrit, right? Most of the time they use Sanskrit to introduce, to chant the Buddha's teaching, right? But for Theravada like us, we have mostly Theravada Buddhist country, mainly like Cambodia, Sri Lanka, Myanmar, Thailand, Laos. 5 countries are Theravada Buddhist, right? These are the main 5 countries, and also now you see Theravada Buddhism spread in America, in Europe. You see so many Americans, Westerners, and Europeans. They also ordain, under the Theravada tradition. Vandana presents text with Pali on the left page and English on the facing right page. The daily recitation of Pali verses and sutta promotes a gradual and easy mastery of Pali pronunciation. Our translations are meant to be accurate and meaningful to modern readers without borrowing Western religious terminology. This is what I really love most about this book. Of course, I have access to many other devotion books, so many devotion book has been written in English, and I read a lot, but this one is really something that I love to recommend to everyone because the translation is very accurate. They try to be as accurate as possible. They don't want to borrow like the term that already existed in Christianity or in other religion. ព្រោះប្រើពាក្យការប្រើពាក្យខ្លះពិបាករកអង់គ្លេសណាពាក្យធម៌យើងនៅក្នុងពុទ្ធសាសនាប្រើមិនស្រួលហ្នឹងពាក្យហ្នឹងគេត្រូវបានគេប្រើនៅក្នុងសាសនាយេស៊ូសាសនាគ្រីស្ទអញ្ចឹងដល់ពេលយើងយកមកប្រើទៅអ្នកដែលថ្នឹកជាមួយសាសនាហ្នឹងគាត់កាត់យល់ទៅន័យហ្នឹងទាំងដែលខ្លឹមសារក្នុងពុទ្ធសាសនាទៅផ្សេងអញ្ចឹងណាដូច្នេះការប្រើ term អង់គ្លេសហ្នឹងសំខាន់ណាស់ត្រូវតែរៀនព្រោះ Dhamma terminology really helpful in this case, so we have to be careful when coming to decide how to use the Dhamma term, right? That's what I like about this book. ចឹងលោកជាយាមរក្សាលោកប្រើពាក្យtranslation ពីបាលីមកហ្នឹងជាយាមរក្សាពាក្យអង់គ្លេសហ្នឹងអត់ឲ្យវាឆ្ងាយចាកពីខ្លឹមសារដើមនៃពុទ្ធវចនៈទេអញ្ចឹងណាអញ្ចឹងលោកអត់ borrow ពាក្យកម្ចីពីសាសនាផ្សេងទេកុំឲ្យយល់ច្រឡំហ្នឹងហើយពាក្យខ្លះអាចច្រឡំគ្នាមែនតាហ្នឹងហើយដូចពាក្យសិលពាក្យវិន័យអីចឹងទៅនៅក្នុងធម៌យើងក្នុងពុទ្ធសាសនាមានន័យទូលំទូលាយពាក្យសមាធិអីចឹងណាអញ្ចឹងបើយើងប្រើ អង់គ្លេសអត់ត្រូវទេគេកាត់ទៅន័យផ្សេងសំខាន់ដែលយើងត្រូវចេះ term Okay, let's go on. To help the student of Pali, compound words are often hyphenated in this Vandana book. Key Pali words and their English translation are bold-faced type. In the endnotes of the book, original source are listed. Perhaps most importantly, the devotional services included in this book provide a solid introduction to the Dhamma. Chanting on a regular basis each morning and evening provides an excellent opportunity to learn. To learn what? Okay, let's go next. To learn the Dhamma. So big deal. By using the words of the Buddha, we can be assured that we will be guided in the right direction. Some selections have developed our training and discipline. Others, like fire sermon ហ្នឹងទិដ្ឋបរិយាយសោតសូត្រដែលសម្ដែងពីភ្លើងហ្នឹង and the discourse to Girimananda Sot kindle our intellectual understanding of the Dhamma and increase our wisdom. Selections such as the recollection of the Buddha, Buddhism, and the jewel discourse expand our feelings of devotion. Okay, meditation and devotional practice. So just try to understand some basic rituals. Devotional practice. Okay, just a moment. Okay, meditation and devotional practice. Devotional practice and meditation are not very different from each other. What we experience in our meditation practice, we read and learn about in the Vandana devotional services. For instance, the discourse on the characteristic of selflessness. ដូចជាត្រៃលក្ខណ៍ណា sorry, discourse characteristic of selflessness អនត្តាណា We recite the three characteristics of all conditioned things: impermanence, unsatisfactoriness, and selflessness, right? Anicca, dukkha, anatta. In deep states of meditation, we experience these three characteristics directly. នឹងលោកចង់និយាយចេះចង់និយាយថារវាងសមាធិហើយនឹងការថ្វាយអង្គមព្រះនេះការសូត្រធម៌ហ្នឹងគេ devotional practice ហ្នឹងណា devotion ហ្នឹងគឺសទ្ធាណាវាខុសគ្នាមិននៅក្នុងការថ្វាយអង្គមស្វាធ្យាយប្រចាំថ្ងៃហ្នឹងដូចថាយើងសូត្រអនិច្ចាវត្តសង្ខារាចុះឧទាហរណ៍អញ្ចឹងណាដែលពិចារណាពីត្រៃលក្ខណ៍អញ្ចឹងអាហ្នឹងគេហៅ devotion ការស្វាធ្យាយហ្នឹងវាជាសមាធិដែរណាហ្នឹងហើយវាជាខណកសមាធិព្រោះនៅពេលដែលយើងស្វាធ្យាយទៅចិត្តយើងស្ងប់ចិត្តយើងដួតទៅលើធម៌ហ្នឹងទៅវាចូល meditation ណាមិនអញ្ចឹងហ្នឹងហើយអញ្ចឹងដល់លោកបង្ហាញលើនេះណា in deep state of meditation we experience in 3D ដល់ពេលដែលសមាធិយើងចូលជ្រៅទៅយើងក៏អាចយកធម៌ត្រៃលក្ខណ៍ទាំង3ហ្នឹងពិចារណាឲ្យទៅជាអារម្មណ៍នៃកម្មដ្ឋានអញ្ចឹងវា connect គ្នាការសូត្រធម៌ថ្វាយអង្គមព្រះប្រចាំថ្ងៃដែលយើងសូត្រពុទ្ធគុណធម្មគុណសង្ឃគុណតិបិសោស្វកតោសុបដិបណ្ណោហ្នឹងក៏ជាការចម្រើននៅពុទ្ធានុសតិអីចឹងទៅនៅក្នុងហ្នឹងលោករៀបរាប់បាញ់មិញនេះអញ្ចឹងការសូត្រស្វាធ្យាយហ្នឹងវាមាន connection ទៅជាមួយនឹងការចម្រើនសមាធិស្រាប់ទៅហើយអញ្ចឹងវាសំខាន់ណា ritual ហ្នឹងយើងត្រូវយល់ណាយើងមុនធ្វើសមាធិយើងថ្វាយអង្គមព្រះសិនហ្នឹងហើយអ្នកខ្លះឆ្ងល់ហើយថាដូចនៅវត្តខ្លះគេសូត្រធម៌ឲ្យបានសមាធិវត្តខ្លះសមាធិឲ្យបានសូត្រធម៌អញ្ចឹងណាហើយវត្តខ្លះសូត្រផងគេសូត្រធម៌ឲ្យបានសមាធិឲ្យគេសូត្រដងទៀតអាហ្នឹងក៏មានដែរហ្នឹងនិយាយឲ្យញាតិញោមយល់ទូទៅអញ្ចឹងគឺ right sometimes you begin meditation with some chanting and some temple they do the meditation first and then they end with the chanting but sometimes they do the chanting first and meditation in the middle and also end with the chanting as a way to spreading sharing merit ចឹងវាអត់ចម្លែកទេយើងអាចធ្វើមួយណាក៏បានប៉ុន្តែបើសិនជាយើងសូត្រស្វាធ្យាយពុទ្ធគុណឬក៏ហៅថាត្រៃរតនគុណមុនវាជាការភ្ជាប់អារម្មណ៍ក្នុងកម្មដ្ឋានអញ្ចឹងវាល្អយើងមាន connection ហើយស្រាប់ដល់ពេលយើងទៅចម្រើនកម្មដ្ឋានហ្នឹងចិត្តវាឆាប់សុខនឹងហើយដល់ចប់យើងផ្សាយមេត្តាយើងសូត្រទៀតបាន When we offer flowers and incense to the Buddha as part of our devotion, it helps us realize the impermanent nature of all conditioned things. An insight we also develop during meditation. ចឹងពេលបូជាផ្កាញាតិញោមណាមិនមែនបូជាដើម្បីប្រាថ្នាឲ្យក្លិនក្រអូបដោយផ្កាទេឬក៏អុជធូបក៏ដោយនេះលោកបញ្យល់តែពិតវាជាផ្នែកមួយនៃពូចានៃការបូជាប៉ុន្តែដើម្បីជួយយើងយល់អំពីអីយល់អំពីភាពមិនទៀងណាហ្នឹងហើយភាពមិនទៀងនៃសង្ខារធម៌នេះ right so when you offer like flowers or incense to the Buddha you can take into reflection you see the changing nature of the flower right from blooming to decaying right like that of incense from the first burning until the end right then we can see all the impermanent nature of all conditioned things as our meditation practice becomes more profound our devotion to the Buddha Dhamma and Sangha grows it is this devotion that we express in words in Vandana okay let's go further okay we still have half hour so I will skip some but just to read the important part okay let me start each Buddhist center is unique if you have attended Vandana services at other temple and center you may notice both similarities and differences in the service outlined in the book Theravada Buddhist devotional service has been developed independently by different temples according to their own needs and sentiments. Even today, individual Buddhist temples in the same country have their own Vandana service. Right? There is no standard devotional service accepted by every Theravada Buddhist temple in the world. ចឹងមិនមានការកំណត់ស្តង់ដារឲ្យថាវត្តទាំងអស់ត្រូវតែមានរបៀបថ្វាយអង្គមព្រះសូត្រធម៌ដូចគ្នាអត់ទេអត់មានទេណាលោកនិយាយអញ្ចឹងបីនៅក្នុងស្រីលង្កាឬប្រទេសផ្សេងៗលើពិភពលោក depend ទេ yeah practicing at home okay this is maybe important for lay people right ញាតិញោមសំខាន់ដែរសម្រាប់ការគោរពបូជានៅផ្ទះប្រចាំថ្ងៃបើយើងអត់មានពេលទៅវត្តតែនៅផ្ទះយើងត្រូវមានកន្លែងគោរពបូជាទីសក្ការៈដូចជាអាសនៈឬក៏បន្ទប់ដែលយើងរៀបចំមានសម្រាប់ពុទ្ធាសនៈអីចឹងទៅរូបបដិមាឬក៏រូបថតពុទ្ធរូបthose who wish to develop a Vandana routine ណា Vandana ខ្មែរយើងហៅ Vandana ណា Vandana ហ្នឹងគឺការគោរពថ្វាយអង្គមហ្នឹងឯងfor themselves should set aside a place in their home to be used exclusively for devotional practice and meditation. If space permits, a small spare room could be turned into a shrine room, right? A shrine room មានន័យថាដូចកន្លែងទីសក្ការៈបើយើងប្រើពាក្យ shrine hall វាទៅជាព្រះវិហារវិញណា shrine hall ហ្នឹងខ្មែរយើងសំដៅលើព្រះវិហារព្រោះកន្លែងជាទីសក្ការៈក្នុងវត្តគឺព្រះវិហារហ្នឹងឯងឬក៏ Sima Hall ណាឧបោសថាគារាមឧបោសថាគា Sima Hall ពាក្យបាលីសីមាហ្នឹង If such a room is not available a spacious closet might be used for a small section of the room partitioned by a curtain សុខលោកបច្ចៈយ៉ាងសូម្បីតែបន្ទប់ហ្នឹងជាអៀតណាស់យើងកេងម្ខាងទៀតយើងចង់ដាក់ហឹងពុទ្ធរូបអីយ៉ាងទៅញាតិញោមយកវាំងណូនបាំងណា If space is extremely limited, then a reasonably large table could be set up, or at least a corner table could be turned into an altar. ហើយថាបន្ទប់ហ្នឹងកាន់តែជាទៀតរៀបតុកតូចមួយទៅហ្នឹងហើយ តុកតូចមួយទៅដាក់មានពុទ្ធបដិមាអញ្ចឹងទៅបានដែរបង altar នេះគឺសំដៅលើអាសនៈណានឹង altar បល្ល័ង្កព្រះអីហ្នឹងប្រើពី altar ដែរ even a high shelf on a wall could be used to hold a Buddha image and be treated as the focus of devotion នឹងខ្មែរយើងមានទលាមទម្លាប់ភូមាក៏សម្បូរដែរ for Burmese people too in Cambodian we usually no matter how small their house is but they still have like they hang the shell on the wall just to place the Buddha image so you have a focus for your devotion, right? Setting out a separate place in our home for devotional practice and meditation creates a peaceful and serene psychological atmosphere នេះនឹងសំខាន់ណាញាតិញោមហើយបានយើងត្រូវមានអាសនៈព្រះនៅផ្ទះវាធ្វើឲ្យបរិយាកាសហ្នឹងផ្សេងពីដែលថាផ្ទះយើងគ្រាន់តែមានផ្ទះដូចនៅខ្មែរយើងត្រឡប់ទៅលើតែមានផ្ទះហ្នឹងមានយ័ន្តមានអីណាការពារផ្ទះមានយ័ន្តជំនាញផ្ទះអញ្ចឹងមិនស្គាល់ដែរតែយើងកុំឲ្យចោលពុទ្ធរូបពុទ្ធបដិមា will create a peaceful and serene atmosphere, right? If you have something like a sacred object for your daily devotion, right? At least for your reminder, a focus on spiritual progress is really important to have it. Merely by entering it to evoke a calming and soothing feeling in our minds. Our repeated practice in this place can serve as a constant reminder that beyond all our immediate aims and activities, our final goal is to attain enlightenment and liberation from suffering. When we treat our shrine area as the sanctuary ណាពេលយើងរក្សាកន្លែងដែលយើងគោរពហ្នឹងទៅជាគេហៅជាពូជនីយដ្ឋានណា sanctuary ហ្នឹង where the triple gem, the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha reside, we are reminded of our reverence for them. Reverence ហ្នឹងគឺសេចក្តីគោរពគោរព By reciting daily devotions and chanting suttas, we live wholesome and positive vibration, right? Wholesome ហ្នឹងកុសលណា positive vibration in our shrine room. These vibrations also aid our practice of meditation. The area set out for devotional practice and meditation should be a quiet, pleasant, and private place. If the shrine is set up in a sleeping area, it should stand in the direction of the head of the bed, not at its foot. ចឹងបើមានពុទ្ធទេសនៈនៅក្នុងបន្ទប់គេងក៏មានចុះប៉ុន្តែកុំឲ្យដាក់នៅចុងជើងណាខ្ញុំដាក់លើក្បាលយើងការគោរព Entering the shrine we remove our shoes ណាពេលយើងចូលទៅកន្លែងទីសក្ការៈបូជានានាកុំពាក់ស្បែកជើងឡើង This is a customary sign of respect and promotes cleanliness in the shrine area. It also makes it easier to assume the correct postures for devotional practice and meditation. Now, setting up an altar. Okay, you may read by yourself. This one, I'm gonna skip. Okay, way of salutation. Been question in there, you know. Any questions so far? Okay, then let's move on.
I have one question. Sorry.
Okay, please.
Yes, actually, I have asana breath, Puputurup, in my room, and I put it in front of my head, but I feel unsatisfied when I remove my clothes, so I feel guilty of doing that in front of
the Buddha image.
Buddha image. So should it? Do you have any recommendation for that?
Just like it was mentioned in the book, we can do the curtain, just use the curtain to partition, right? To យើងប្រើវាំងននបាំង and yeah, sometimes you may think about where you can do the changing, right? Either in restroom. No, I'm not sure if you do the changing in your sleeping room. Otherwise, use the curtain to partition from the sacred altar, right? Yeah. មានអញ្ចឹងឯងយើងបាំងទៅ
Okay,
មាន
thank
ញា
you
តិញោ
so
ម
much. Yes.
បាសិកាខ្លះគាត់ធ្លាប់សួរដែរគាត់ធ្លាប់សួរដែរអញ្ចឹងដូចយើងរៀបពេលខ្លះដូចនៅអាមេរិកអញ្ចឹងខ្ញុំកណ្ដាលធ្លាប់រៀបបន្ទប់ឲ្យបាសិកាគាត់សម្រាកយើងភ្លេចគិតនៅក្នុងបន្ទប់ដូចធម្មតានៅវត្តវាមានពុទ្ធរូបអីចឹងណាអញ្ចឹងគាត់ថាដល់ពេលគេងទៅមានអារម្មណ៍អៀនដូចព្រះនៅក្បែរ something like that អានឹង is a good idea និយាយថាសម្រាប់យើងរៀបចំវត្តពេលណាយើងមានបន្ទប់ទទួលភ្ញៀវអីចឹងយើងគួរគិតដែរ mindset ហ្នឹងណារៀបម៉េចដើម្បីកុំឲ្យអ្នកដែលមកប្រស្រ័យហ្នឹងមានអារម្មណ៍ល្អៀសដូចថាបើយើងមានពុទ្ធរូបយើងដាក់កន្លែងសំគួរចឹងទៅហើយកន្លែងស្នាក់ហ្នឹងរៀងបាំងតិចទៅហ្នឹងហើយកុំឲ្យឃើញច្បាស់ពេកណា Okay, anyway, I think it's a good idea to understand all these concepts. And then moving forward, a way of salutation នេះរបៀបសំពះញាតិញោមបាទនៅក្នុងបៃនីខ្មែរយើងមាន5ក្នុងពុទ្ធសាសនាក៏មាន5ដែរហ្នឹងហើយ5ផ្សេងយ៉ាងម៉េច The most appropriate beginning to devotional practice is a triple prostration ណានេះ3 prostration ហ្នឹងគឺរបៀបយើងថ្វាយអង្គមណាចောင်းហោងBefore the Buddha image, it is a formal act of deep commitment to be performed mindfully and sincerely. While prostrating, one should collect one's attention and bring it to bear upon reaffirmation of one's confidence in the Buddha, the Dhamma, and Sangha. នេះពេលយើងលើកដៃផ្គងអញ្ជលីយើងត្រូវបង្អោនចេតនាវាទៅតាំងចេតនាមិនមែនលើកដៃសំពះឲ្យចិត្តនៅកន្លែងផ្សេងអត់ទេពេលយើងថ្វាយអង្គមព្រះញាតិញោមបងពេលយើងលើកដៃផ្គងនេះបណ្ដំអញ្ជលីនឹងមកយើងត្រូវមានសទ្ធាតាំងចេតនាជ្រះថ្លានៅក្នុងគុណរបស់បរតនត្រ័យក៏ reaffirmation one's confidence ហ្នឹងគឺសទ្ធាណាសទ្ធានៅក្នុងបរតនត្រ័យ The act of prostration is called the 5-point prostration បញ្ចង្គៈវណ្ដនាអញ្ចឹងរបៀបថ្វាយអង្គមក្នុងពុទ្ធសាសនាមានអង្គ5 In this position both hands are placed together in anjali ណា in anjali ហ្នឹងគេហៅបណ្ដំអញ្ជលីហ្នឹង in front of the body with the thumbs and fingertips touching and slightly cupped at the palms ញាតិញោមធ្លាប់ឃើញរូបហើយថ្វាយអង្គមប្រកបដោយអង្គ5 So I will post later the pictures of how you should prostrate in fivefold worship or prostration. This is simply a form of respectful salutation used frequently as a greeting for monks or nuns and also for saluting parents and other elders in Theravada countries. So we use this not only for Buddhas, but also for your parents, for the monk too. That's how we Buddhists normally do. Holding hands in this position, you should kneel down, lower the part of legs under the thighs and the feet under the buttocks. Although there is no standard way of placing the hands down on the floor, we recommend that the palms be face up or down and the hands separated, leaving enough room for the forehead to touch the ground. Then that's just the way to pay respect to the Buddha, to the monk. Okay, let's come to taking refuge. Taking refuge. មិនទៅហៅថាទទួលត្រៃសនគមហ្នឹងហើយថាមានពុទ្ធពធប្រសង្ឃជាទីពឹងហ្នឹងយ៉ាងម៉េច After the salutation, repeat the formula for taking refuge in the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha 3 times. Right? You repeat after the monk, Buddhang Saranang Gacchami, Dhammang Saranang Gacchami, Sanghang Saranang Gacchami, Tutiyampe, Tatiyampe, yeah? Right? for the second time, for the third time, you repeat after the monk, Buddhang Saranang Gacchami, I take refuge in the Buddha, Dhammang Saranang Gacchami, I take refuge in the Dhamma, Sanghang Saranang Gacchami, I take refuge in the Sangha. These three are called the three refuges or the triple gem. ជាងការក៏យើងហៅ three jewels ក៏បានដែរហៅថាបត្រៃរតនៈព្រោះ jewel គឺរតនៈដូចរតនៈវត្ថុអញ្ចឹងណាហ្នឹងរតនៈមានពាក្យផ្សេងទៀតណា By taking refuge in the triple gem you are initiated into the practice of the Buddha's teaching ដើម្បីយើងថ្វាយខ្លួនជាបាសកបាសិកាក៏យើងត្រូវតែសូត្រត្រៃសនគមដែរអញ្ចឹងណាសំខាន់ហើយបានគេទទួលសិលបើអត់យកត្រៃសនគមទេគេអត់ទាន់យកសិលទេអញ្ចឹងត្រូវមានត្រៃសនគមជាទីពឹងទីរលឹកហើយបានទទួលសិល5សិល8អញ្ចឹងទៅ Now you can be considered to be a Buddhist although in the actuality the real Buddhist is the one who lives a life following all the principles of the Buddha's teaching with full understanding reciting the formula ណា formula ហ្នឹងអាទម្រង់ហ្នឹងទម្រង់នេះយើងសូត្រពុទ្ធភាំងហ្នឹង Reciting the formula for taking refuge should be done with full understanding of its meaning. The first of the three refuges is the Buddha, the discoverer and the expounder of the path to liberation. He is the supremely enlightened being who elevated human dignity to its highest spiritual attainment, purifying the mind through the practice of the path laid down by all enlightened beings, including himself. The Dhamma is the Buddha's teaching of the truth. The Sangha is the community of the Buddha's enlightened disciples. Right? So you have to understand the meaning, what they are. Why are you taking refuge in the triple gem? How important. Taking refuge affirms our commitment to accept the qualities of the triple gem as our supreme guiding principles. Right? In order to achieve the goal of these principles, we have to follow their meanings. This calls for us to translate the teachings into action and to live by the Dhamma. Right? Dhammang kayena pasati. ឃើញធម៌ដោយកាយហ្នឹងគឺដោយការបកប្រែធម៌ហ្នឹង And then 5 precept is a basic principle in Buddhism, right? Either you are Buddhist or not, but this 5 principle is really good to live a happy and harmonious life in society. If community, if the world can undertake this principle, I think will bring a lot of peace to the world. 5 precepts to fulfill the needs of different practitioners. The Vandana book provides 3 different ways to request the refuges and precepts. Right? Request for the 3 refuges and 5 precepts. The 5 precepts are the 5 basic moral guidelines or training rules that lay Buddhists promise to observe every day in their practice of morality, sila. Each person voluntarily undertake to uphold these rules without any sense of intimidation. ចឹងសិល5មិនមែនជាការគំរាមទេណានឹងមានន័យថាយើងធ្វើដោយជ្រះថ្លាក្នុងការរក្សាតាំងចិត្តចេតនាសមាទានកាន់យកអនុវត្តដោយខ្លួនឯងអញ្ចឹងណា Without any sense of intimidation or supplication to anyone, human or divine. Putting the precept into action can be a challenge, but the serious devotee makes every effort to maintain them. If we are fully committed to the triple gem, it is entirely possible to mindfully apply these principles into our daily lives. By observing these precepts, we actively practice loving friendliness. When we abstain from killing, we respect all living beings, right? When we abstain from stealing, right? បើយើងមិនសម្លាប់សត្វយើងវាចាកបាណតិបត្តិន័យថាយើងឲ្យនៅអភ័យឲ្យនៅមេត្តាពេលដែលយើងមិនលួចយ៉ាងម៉េច we practice appreciative joy, right? ពេលដែលយើងមិនលួចគឺយើងកំពុងតែបដិបត្តិនៅធម៌គេប្រសិទ្ធចយគឺមុទិតាហ្នឹងហើយរីករាយជាមួយនឹងទ្រព្យរបស់អ្នកដទៃមិនរីករាយចង់បានរបស់គេទេសាទរគេហ្នឹង We rejoice in the good fortune of others. By abstaining from sexual misconduct, we respect and honor the dignity of others as well as our own honor and dignity. By abstaining from telling lies, we not only honor and respect truthfulness, but we also maintain our dignity and self-respect. By abstaining from taking intoxicating drinks and drugs, we remain sober with a steady mind, which can more easily be trained in mindfulness, leading up to the attainment of enlightenment. នៅដូចសិក្ខាបទចុងក្រោយសុរាអញ្ចឹងពេលយើងវាចាក់គ្រឿងស្រវឹងបានណាវាតាមពិតវាជួយសតិសម្បជញ្ញៈយើងកុំឲ្យយើង lose mindfulness lose focus when we avoid from drinking. So it can be very first helpful for your brain, for your mindfulness, for your memory, right? And also for your good health, of course. I mean 8 lifetime precept not យើងបាច់ចាំនេះក៏បានដែរនឹងសម្រាប់អ្នកសិល8អីធម្មតាទៅបោសុតអាចអានបន្ថែមខ្លួនឯង asking for forgiveness នេះទីសុំកម្មាទោសពេលយើងសូត្រខ្មែរយើងសូត្រឧត្តមាំងគេនៅហ្នឹងគឺន័យនៅក្នុងអីយើងកម្មាទោសកំហុសហ្នឹងហើយអាចអានខ្លួនឯង Okay offering please do read by yourself essential teaching okay essential teaching right here just gonna indicate you just the brief of the essential teachings like the Noble Eightfold Path, right? We're gonna learn it later on too, but this is just an intro. The Noble Eightfold Path. The first additional reading is the very heart of the Buddha's teaching, the Noble Eightfold Path. It was by following these 8 steps that the Buddha himself obtained enlightenment. As such, he recommended these steps as a way for all beings to free themselves from psychic irritants. Now,គ្រូហេនេប៉ូឡាគុណរតនាលោកចូលចិត្តប្រើពាក្យហ្នឹង psychic irritant បើញាតិញោមអង្គណាធ្លាប់មើលវីដេអូលោកសាកឆាធននៅម៉ាឡេស៊ីជាមួយដុកទ័រ K ស្រីដាម៉ាណាន់តាលោកចូលចិត្តប្រើ psychic irritant ហ្នឹងតែពិតសំដៅលើកិលេសហ្នឹងណាគ្រឿងដែលកកោអាសវៈហ្នឹងបាទគ្រឿងរំខានណាគ្រឿងដែលចាក់រុកហ្នឹងហើយ psychic irritant. Underlying all of our Vandana practice is the effort to cultivate the practice of the Noble Eightfold Path. The Noble Eightfold Path, also known as the Middle Way, can be considered in terms of 3 categories: morality, sila, wisdom, panya, and concentration, samadhi. ចឹងសរុបដោយខ្លីរយមៈអង្គ8ហ្នឹងគឺ3គ្រប់ណាគេហៅថាសិលសិក្ខាណា Panya Sakha ហើយនិង Samadhi Sakha. By accepting the triple gem as our only guide and determining to practice the precepts, we lay the foundation of morality. By contemplating the qualities of the triple gem and reflecting on the nature of all conditioned things, we develop the spiritual atmosphere to take steps into the practice of concentration. When we make conscious effort to espouse the qualities of the triple gem, we develop the wisdom to emulate those noble ones who are the embodiment of peace and happiness. ហ្នឹងលោកបញ្យល់ពីត្រៃសិក្ខា3ហ្នឹង And beside the Noble Eightfold Path, another important foundation or fundamental teachings of the Buddha is the dependent origination. បដិជ្ជសមុប្បាតណាបដិជ្ជសមុប្បាតញាតិញោមរៀនណាក្នុងអភិធម្មវិបស្សនាក្តី Another selection included in this Vandana book is dependent origination. This is really important too. Later on I gonna show you the chart, the map in which we can quickly understand the dependent origination. Padijjasamuppada in Pali, an important and profound part of the Buddha's teaching. It is said that a six-color aura radiated from the Buddha's head. When he was reflecting on these factors of dependent origination in the fourth week of his enlightenment, this law of causation describes the independency of our existence both here in this life and the next. អាហ្នឹងលោករៀបរាប់ចឹងថាគេជឿជាក់ថាឆាប់ពន្ធរាំងសីណាពណ៌ទាំង6ដែលចេញពីប្រកេសាបស័យស័ករបស់ព្រះអង្គហ្នឹងនៅពេលដែលព្រះអង្គទ្រង់ចម្រើននៅបដិជ្ជសមុប្បាតនឹងឯងនៅសប្តាហ៍ទី4សប្តាហ៍ទី4ដែលព្រះអង្គត្រាស់ដឹងហ្នឹងព្រះអង្គពិចារណាបដិជ្ជសមុប្បាតទៅចេញនៅពណ៌ឆាប់ពន្ធរាំងសីទាំង6ហ្នឹងលោកលើកចឹងណាហ្នឹងហើយ verses of protection នេះក៏មានធម៌ផ្សាយមេត្តាការពារអមនុស្សណាមានករណីមេត្តាសូត្រណា this also some verses of protection like from those who are not human, you know, non-human being protection, like for someone they want to practice meditation in the jungle, in the forest, and in the mountains. There might be some you know, some spirits or some non-human being who lives there. So the Buddha also expounded some verses for their protection. Okay, and sharing of merits. Okay, we gonna end the class soon in 5 minutes. So let me just finish the sharing of merit. This is really important, especially on the occasion wherever or whenever you have a chance to perform good deed. At the end, you should, you know, share merit with yourself, with your family, friends, and all beings in the whole universe. Merit means value or worth. When you have something of value, you can share it with others. In the contrary, in the ordinary sense of the word, merit means praiseworthy qualities. ដែលផ្សាយបុណ្យណាចែកលេខបុណ្យណាបតានុមោទនាឬក៏ sharing merit. You are promoted in your job or at school according to your merits. Similarly, in spiritual practice, the thing you do to promote your peace and happiness are called meritorious acts. It is these acts that elevate your spiritual level and lead to attainment of enlightenment. Sharing what you most appreciate and admire with others is very generous and compassionate act. In the Buddhist tradition, this is called the dedication of merit, anumodaniya. ចែកបុណ្យបតានុមោទនាពេលយើងអនុមោទនាបុណ្យហើយយើងទទួលយកវិញអញ្ចឹងណាអញ្ចឹងយើងបន្តទម្លាប់នៃការចែកបុណ្យហើយនឹងអនុមោទនាធ្វើឲ្យចិត្តយើងស្ងប់រីករាយនិងចេះគេហៅថាត្រេកអរជាមួយនឹងអ្នកដទៃដែលគេធ្វើល្អអញ្ចឹងណា rejoicing នេះអនុមោទនា rejoicing of merit ណា if you want to find the term អនុមោទនា rejoicing in others' merit is also considered to be meritorious. This means you support and promote your wholesome thoughts, words, and deeds as well as those of others. Since you do this with pure intention, this kind of wholesome deed is called wholesome karma. អញ្ចឹងពេលដែលយើងរីករាយជាមួយនឹងបុណ្យរបស់អ្នកដទៃហ្នឹងក៏ជាបុណ្យដែរគ្រាន់តែយើងត្រេកអរអនុមោទនាជាមួយនឹងគេជូនបុណ្យហ្នឹងក៏យើងបានបុណ្យដែរអ្នកជូនបុណ្យគេក៏បានបុណ្យអ្នកទទួលបុណ្យគេក៏បានបុណ្យបានទាំងពីរ This means you support and promote your wholesome thought អញ្ចឹងណា In Eastern tradition, in memory of the deceased relatives, people perform numerous merit-sharing ceremonies to purify their own minds. They may give something to religious organizations or to the poor, observe the precepts, or teach the Dharma. Some people may even become ordained for a short period of time and stay in monasteries. ហ្នឹងយើងពេលមនុស្សស្លាប់មានញាតិស្លាប់ច្រើនបួសខ្មែរយើង It's a good tradition, yeah. Having done one or more of these things, relatives or friends perform a ceremony 7 days, 3 months, or 1 year after the death in memory of the deceased. ឃើញទេសូម្បីនៅលោកគ្រូលោកជាជនជាតិស្រីលង្កាបងឯងលោកនិយាយពីបុណ្យ7ថ្ងៃបុណ្យ100ថ្ងៃអ្នក3 month នេះ or 1 year នេះបើអញ្ចឹងវាមានក្នុង Buddhist tradition ritual ហ្នឹងវាមានស្ទើរតែគ្រប់ប្រទេសហ្នឹងវាមិនមែនតែប្រពៃណីខ្មែរអញ្ចឹងទេដែលធ្វើបុណ្យ7ថ្ងៃធ្វើបុណ្យ100ថ្ងៃបុណ្យមួយឆ្នាំអញ្ចឹងខួបអ្នកស្លាប់ណាដើម្បីឧទ្ទិសបុណ្យឲ្យថាតក្កណាទានណាតក្កណានុបទាន Before the ceremony start, the lay people fill a teapot or pitcher to clean water and keep it before them during the chanting. They also have 2 bowls, a smaller bowl inside larger one. Toward the end of the ceremony, the relative friend of the deceased pour water from the pitcher or teapot into the smaller bowl, saying, "May our departed relatives share this merit. Itang nya tinang hotu sukita hontu nya tayo." ហ្នឹងញាតិញោមចេះអស់ហើយវាផ្សាយបុណ្យហ្នឹងគឺបុណ្យដល់អ្នកស្លាប់ហ្នឹងណាហើយដូចគ្នានេះគាត់ភាសាអង់គ្លេសលោកប្រាប់ច្រូចទឹកដូចយើងអញ្ចឹងណាប្រពៃណីច្រូចទឹកណាមានអញ្ចឹងដែរច្រូចទឹកហ្នឹងមិនមែនគាត់ច្រូចអីទេគឺគាត់បង្អោនចិត្តទៅទី1ជាសក្ខីកម្មបើជាសក្ខីកម្មដោយពេលព្រះអង្គត្រាស់ដឹងអញ្ចឹងមាននាងហេងបធរនីអញ្ចឹងទៅហើយពេលហ្នឹងយើងអាចធម្មតានៅខ្មែរអញ្ចឹងពីមុនច្រូចទឹកលើដីឯងមាននាងហេងធរនីជាសាក្សីប៉ុន្តែឥឡូវអង្គុយលើអត្តក្រោអង្គុយលើផ្ទះមានដីណាច្រូចមិនដាក់ផ្តិលដាក់ចានទៅណាហ្នឹងហើយប៉ុន្តែឲ្យចេតនាហ្នឹងបង្អោនឧទ្ទិសទានដល់ឧទ្ទិសបុណ្យដល់ញាតិអញ្ចឹងណាបានលោកមានពាក្យថាទាំងវោឬទាំងណូញាតិណាងហោតុសុគិតាហោតុញាតិយោនេះចឹងយើងអានតាមបាលីរ៉ូម៉ាំងអ៊ីដាំងណូញ៉ាទីណាំហោតុសុគិតាហោតុញាតិយោ The water is allowed to overflow into the larger bowl symbolically ជាតំណាងយ៉ាងម៉េច overflowing water signifies the generosity of living relatives or friends. Water represents life, for wherever there is water, there is life. The water also represents merit, without which none can be peaceful and happy, just as without water, no one is able to survive. Just as water gives life to beings, meritorious deeds give them vitality. The empty bowl represents the deceased relative or friend. Just as the bowl fills up the water, so the mind of the deceased will be filled with joy and happiness after sharing in the merit. ហើយញាតិញោមយល់អត្ថន័យច្រូចទឹកហ្នឹងហើយនេះលោកបញ្យល់ការប្រៀបធៀបទេដែលយើងច្រូចទឹកអញ្ចឹងលោកប្រៀបថាទឹកប្រៀបដូចជាជីវិតព្រោះជីវិតមិនអាចរស់នៅដោយខ្វះទឹកទេអញ្ចឹងទឹកហ្នឹងដូចជាញាតិដែលកំពុងរស់នៅហើយយើងចាក់ទឹកចូលទៅក្នុងចានឬផ្តិលហ្នឹងទៅអាចានផ្តិលទៅទេដំបងវាទៅទេអាទៅទេហ្នឹងប្រៀបដូចជាញាតិដែលស្លាប់ទៅអញ្ចឹងវាអស់ទឹកណាអស់ទឹកវាដូចជាជីវិតដែលស្លាប់ញាតិដែលស្លាប់ទៅអញ្ចឹងដល់ពេលដែលយើងចាក់ទឹកទៅឲ្យផ្តិលទៅទេហ្នឹងចាក់បំពេញទៅឲ្យហ្នឹងមានន័យថាយើងចែកបុណ្យទៅនេះចែកជីវិតឲ្យទៅអ្នកដែលស្លាប់ទៅអាហ្នឹងជាការគេហៅថាសន្មតហ្នឹងហើយជាការសន្មតទេគឺលោកប្រៀបធៀបអញ្ចឹងមិនមែនថាច្រូចទឹកទៅបុណ្យហ្នឹងវារត់តាមទឹកទៅមិនមែនទេក៏ពិតបុណ្យដែលទៅដល់ញាតិហ្នឹងដោយការឧទ្ទិសថាដោយចេតនាទេ so the water does not bring merit to the deceased, right? But what the merit can go to the departed relatives is by our intention, right? Our volition. When you direct your attention saying like, may our departed relatives be happy, be rejoiced in this merit. So they achieve by your intention in sharing, not by sharing water, but by intention that directed to share this merit with your departed ones, right? ហ្នឹងឯងដែលជារឿងសំខាន់ញោមបានយល់មួយហើយអានេះសភៅនេះក៏មានបញ្ជាក់ពី Pali pronunciation. This is you already learned from Venerable Saratha. Okay, so but for your further reading, please do read this. Tomorrow we will meet again, and we will continue this. But I would recommend for you to read ahead of me the Pali pronunciation, the alphabet, like how you read all these vowels, something like that. So you have to learn these things for your further sutta study. Okay. ជាញាតិញោមត្រូវតែរៀនបាលីរ៉ូម៉ាំងឲ្យច្បាស់ណាបើក៏រៀនអត់ច្បាស់ទេពេលយើងចូលរៀនប្រសូតពិបាកយ៉ាងម៉េចឥឡូវដូចជាយើងអានធម៌អញ្ចឹងសិបាលី right សិបាលីអញ្ចឹងដូចតិសារណៈបញ្ញសីលយាចនាបើយើងអត់ចេះអានអត់ចេញទេតែចេះទៅអានរូអញ្ចឹងណានេះដូចប្រសក់គេសូត្រត្រៃសនៈគុំអញ្ចឹងឧកាសៈអហង្ផន្ទេណាឧកាសៈអហង្ផន្ទេតិសារណេនសទ្ធិងបញ្ចសីលੰධម្មੰយាចាមិអនុកហੰកត្វាសីលੰទេតមេផន្ទេទុតិយំពិតតិយំពិអញ្ចឹងទៅហើយបានប្រសង់មួយដូនជាយមហੰនេះណាយ៉ាងអហੰយមហੰវតាមិតាំងវតេថមផន្ទេពុទ្ធังសរណੰកច្ឆាមិធម្មੰសរណੰកច្ឆាមិសង្ឃੰសរណੰកច្ឆាមិទុតិយំពិតតិយំពិ so and so on, right? So that's why you have to learn to read Pali. It's very helpful for learning Theravada Buddhism. And when you recite Panchasila, the 5 precepts, the monk would say each of the sentence, and then the laity follow or repeat after the monk. Panatipata Veramani Sikha Padang Samadhiyami. ចឹងមិនបានត្រូវចេះអានទីមួយនិយាយខ្មែរឲ្យស្រួលយល់ទៅប្រសង់ឬញាតិញោមដែលចេះបាលីជាខ្មែរអញ្ចឹងស្រួលទេយើងស្រួល convert សំឡេងទេយើងធ្លាប់បាណាតិបាតាវេរមណីសិក្ខាបទាំងសមាធិយាមិដែលយើង convert ទៅជារ៉ូម៉ាំងក៏សំឡេងធ្ងន់បន្តិចហើយយើងអានគោរពទៅតាមចញ្ញនៈហើយនឹងសារៈមានន័យថាកន្លែងណាសិទ្ធិលតនិតគរុលហុសំឡេងទីខរស័កអីយើងគោរពទាំងអស់កន្លែងណាទីហៅថា we have to read right following all the grammar rules of Pali like for long vowel we also hold breath like pa not pa pa na ti pa ta see វេរៈណាវេអេហ្នឹងក៏សំឡេងវែងដែរសារៈវែងណាវេរមនីសិក្ខាណាតម្រួតវេជើងតម្រួតត្រូវសកត់ដែរសិក្ខាហើយសាអាទៀតលេងវែងសិក្ខាបដੰសមាឌិយាណាទីយាមិឡើងខ្លីឡើងវែងត្រូវតែអានគោរពទៅតាមវិជ្ជាករហ្នឹងអញ្ចឹងយើងត្រូវច្បាស់ចញ្ញនៈទាំង33តួហើយនឹងស្រៈ8តួរបស់បាលីហ្នឹង so you need to remember all the 41 alphabets of the Pali, right? 33 consonants and 8 vowels. Adina dana veramani sikha padang samadhiyami kame su michha jara veramani sikha padang samadhiyami musavada veramani sikha padang samadhiyami sura meraya majja pama taddhana veramani sikha padang samadhiyami នឹងបានលោកឲ្យទៀតណាဓម្មង្សេតិសារណេនសទ្ធិងបញ្ចសីលੰធម្មងសមាធិយត្តតយិតវាសាទុកੰសុរក្ខិតੰកតវាអបមាតេនសម្បាតេតបੰនៅខ្មែរយើងថាផ្សេងនេះស្រីលង្កាលោកសេយ៉ាងកន្លែងហ្នឹងខ្មែរយើងថាម៉េចតិសារណេនសហបញ្ញអូណូខ្មែរយើងថាម៉េចកន្លែងហ្នឹងពេលចាប់ត្រៃសនៈគុំហើយលោកថាយ៉ាងម៉េចចង់ផ្លេចណាដល់ឲ្យសិលមិនចាំដល់ចុងក្រោយនេះចុងក្រោយសីលេនណាសីលេនសុគតੰស៊ីលេនសុគតិងយន្តិស៊ីលេនភោគសម្បដាស៊ីលេននិពុតិងយន្តិតស្មាស៊ីលੰវិសោថយេ and then let people say sadhu sadhu sadhu. This is the translation, right? The 5 precepts, and then the last part the monk say like a blessing, right? with morality. Good rebirth is gained with morality. Well is achieved with morality. Perfect peace is attained. Therefore, morality should be purified. And Sadhu, excellent, excellent, well done. That's it. Okay, now we come to the end of the class. Any question so far? Dầu miền sum nồi thế, hay chỉ mà go riêng fast một tí. Maybe I went too fast for reading. I'm not sure, but you know, remind me or comment if you have anything in mind other than question. You can also just tell me. Either I should go slower or go faster because time is precious and I don't want to waste every single minute that we have because there's a lot of good things we can learn, you know, from this course and a lot of great discourses of the Buddha that I'd like to guide you to read. You know, basically this course is not meant only for me to work alone. So I like to have all of you, you know, embark on the same journey where we will read the suttas. I read my part, and for you, you also read at home before you come to class. So this is gonna be your homework for the reading. You're gonna read a lot and explore, do more research by yourself if you want to further learn about Buddhism. Of course, the 3 month online course is not enough. It's just the basic guideline for you to further learn that by yourself, right? What I'm trying to put into here in this class, just a brief guidance, you know, like you know, just a pathway for you to connect for your further understanding. So if you really understand, if you're really interested in learning the Buddha's teaching, so you have to do research, more research, learning by yourself with the help of the resources that I provided, the all the links, the books, you know, all those references are gonna be your guide to go further. Okay, so we're gonna stop sharing recording.